Hi everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode I will go more in depth on how to play autoloading heavies at tier 10. So like any other autoloader, they tend to trade their armor for the autoloading gun and good mobility. Now guides will tell you that you want to play autoloading heavies from the second line, supporting the brawling heavies from there. While this is true, it is also entirely possible to use autoloaders such as the T57 Heavy and AMX-50B on the front line, but the risk is greater. The trick to playing autoloading heavies on the front line is that you need to wait for your opportunity to fully unload your clip into the enemy with little to no damage being taken in exchange. And once most of, if not all, of your rounds have been shot, pull back behind teammates or the second line to reload. Because you have a long reload time, take this opportunity to take stock of your current situation and look for potential targets of opportunity that may be distracted or low health. Also look for potential flank routes that may allow you to get easier shots on the enemy. It would also be a good idea to come up with an escape route in the event that enemy tanks charge you once your clip is completely empty. Once your reload is complete, hopefully you have an idea of what tanks you will target first, what route you will take, as well as where to go if attacked. Also do not forget that the top of autoloader heavies are extremely weak and artillery will target you, so sitting in the same place is not recommended. As you can see by the clip that I have playing here in the background, I'm playing the AMX-50B. Throughout this entire game, what I'm doing is I'm just only pulling out to take, 1 to 2 shots. However much time I have, I will put as many rounds as I can and try and pull back as safely as I can. As you can just saw, I only had enough time to put one shot into the FV4005 before he took a shot at me. I only pulled the trigger once, and then I pulled back into cover, and I avoided getting blown up by the Death Star. As you can see here, I did take a round from the 705A, and I punished him by that by putting at least 2 rounds in, either doubling his damage or equaling his damage for the shot that he put into me. I ran empty on there, and so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to flank now that I'm not spotted, hopefully to be able to come up behind him and put more shots into the enemy without them knowing where I'm at. So I'm waiting for my reload to complete. It's up. I'm going to pull in. I notice that the E100 is not looking at me, and the 705A just noticed me. I put one shot into him, and then I see that I have the back end of the E100, so I put the rest of the shots into the E100 before pulling back into cover. Is at this time that I believe a M103 decides to charge at me. As you can see here, he's coming around. I'm pretty much stuck on the reload there. I'm panicking a little bit. He rushes his shot. I'm just trying to use my speed and mobility to run away, but the hill's allowing him to keep up with me. Luckily, the TD in the background manages to put a tracking shot into the M103, keeping him there. Luckily, I also reload right around that time too, so I can finish him off. Now that the threat has been eliminated, I am safe. There's no tanks around. I know that the TD is covering me. I start the reload time, even though I had 1 shot in the clip. It's probably better to have 4 instead of 1. But overall, as you can see, that's more or less how you should be playing autoloading heavies if you're going to be playing on the front line. Now the Kronvon is a different story, as the Swedish Heavy has the strongest turret armor out of the 3 autoloading heavies, which is balanced by giving the Kronvon very weak hull armor and the longest intra-clip reload at 3 seconds. This makes the Swedish Heavy excellent for being a second line support heavy that is able to hide behind hills and make good use of its turret armor, punishing tanks that overexpose themselves or rush teammates at the front. The Kronvon is capable of being a frontline heavy, but the Kronvon is heavily dependent on terrain features to hide its hull in order to do this effectively. So if there are none, being second line support is the best and safest option. Now a trick with the Kronvon is that you can trick your enemies into thinking you still have some rounds loaded by using your strong turret armor and long aim time and peeking out of cover to take shots at the enemy. Fearing they might get tracked, enemy tanks will often pull back into cover buying you precious reload time and delaying the enemy from rushing you. You can actually see this right now as I'm currently reloading, but I'm not pulling back to safety. I'm staying where I'm at, and I'm looking at tanks, telling them, hey, I'm looking at you. And, you know, just rolling up, making them appear that I'm going to give them a shot. I'm playing it more like how I am right now. I'm waiting for an opportunity to strike. The 48 Patton sees that I'm rolling up towards him, so he's backing off. He thinks I'm loaded. But now that I am loaded, I can put shots into him. Overall, this is essentially the way that you want to play the Kronbahn on the front line. The terrain is helping me out a little bit. I'm able to ridgeline peak with my my turret armor and my low hull profile. But the problem is that had this been on like a city map or anything else, I would not be able to be doing this. I'd have to find rubble or something to hide my hull, or I'd have to be sitting at the back and wait for tanks to present themselves to me in order for me to get shots on them safely. Overall, autoloading heavies are a tricky tank type to play effectively, so it is best that you get a few more tier 10s or more experience before attempting to play these tanks as a new player. This concludes today's video on how to play autoloading heavies. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.